Can you hear the beach? This sounds fine. Okay. Right, I think we're good. Can chat box be seen or... Oh, there you go, there you go. Alright. Hi everybody! Welcome again to Tall Tales with Kaiko. Hi Joking Giant and Vtuber Bay and also hello, welcome everybody. Hi. Yes, I'm getting a tan while walking with y'all while we talk about this little story called The Little Match Girl. Oh, the beach is a little loud? Okay, hold on. Let me just tone it down a bit. You know, we have superpowers to calm down the waves. Hi, Uzix! Welcome to the chat. How are ya? Okay. So today's Tall Tales with Kaiko. It's a bit short this time because as you all probably know the Little Match Girl. I mean, obviously 1-7 knows about the story too, but it's a bit sad. A very short but sad, but very beautiful story. You know. I'm gonna get a farmer stand. Gonna get these markings from all of my armbands. Okay. I hope you're all having a good day. Okay? Again, just a little backstory. The reason why I started this Tall Tales with Kaiko on a Monday evening is because, as you all know, Mondays are very stressful, and we all just want to relax after a long day of hard work, right? So, this is just my tiny gift to all of you who's listening for, you know, small relaxing time after work, after a hard day of work. You've never heard of it, Joking Giant? Well, let me tell you the story of the Little Match Girl then. It's by H.C. Andersen. So I already linked the story in the description below, so if you want to check it out, it's over there. And there's also a bunch of other stories by Hans Christian Andersen in that link. Okay, it's completely free because this story is in the public domain. All right, so without further ado, let's begin. The Little Match Girl. Most terribly cold it was. It snowed, and was nearly quite dark in the evening, the last evening of the year. In this cold and darkness, there went along the street a poor little girl, bareheaded and naked with naked feet. When she left home, she had slippers on, it is true. But what was the good of that? They were very large slippers, which her mother had hitherto worn. So large were they, and the poor little thing lost them as she scuffled away across the street, because of two carriages that rolled by dreadfully fast. One slipper was nowhere to be found. The other had been laid hold of by an urchin, and off he ran with it. He thought it would do capitally for a cradle when he some day or other should have children himself. So the little maiden walked on with her tiny naked feet that were quite red and blue from the cold. She carried a quantity of matches in an old apron, and she held a bunch of them in her hand. Nobody had bought anything of her the whole livelong day. No one had given her a single farthing. She crept along trembling with cold and hunger, a very picture of sorrow, the poor little thing. The flakes of snow covered her long, fair hair, which fell in beautiful curls around her neck. But of that, of course, she never once now thought. From all the windows, the candles were gleaming, and it smelled so deliciously of roast goose, for you know it was New Year's Eve. Yes, of that she thought. In a corner formed by two houses, of which one advanced more than the other, she seated herself down and cowered together. Her little feet she had drawn close up to her, but she grew colder and colder, and to go home she did not venture, for she had not sold any matches, and could not bring a farthing of money. From her father she would certainly get blows, and at home it was cold too, for above her she had only the roof, through which the wind whistled, even though the largest cracks were stopped up with straw and rags. Her little hands were almost numbed with cold. Oh, a match might afford her a whole world of comfort if only she dared take a single one out of the bundle, draw it against the wall, and warm her fingers by it. She drew one out. Risht! How it blazed! How it burnt! It was a warm, bright flame, like a candle as she held her hands over it. It was a wonderful light. It seemed really to the little maiden as though she were sitting before a large iron stove, with burnished brass feet and a brass ornament at top. The fire burned with such blessed influence, it warmed so delightfully. The little girl had already stretched out her feet to warm them too, but the small flame went out, the stove vanished, and she had only the remains of the burnt-out match in her hand. She rubbed against the wall. It brightly burned. She rubbed another against the wall. It burned brightly, and where the light fell on the wall, there the wall became transparent like a veil, so that she could see into the room. On the table was a spread, a snow-white tablecloth. Upon it was a splendid porcelain service, and the roast goose was steaming famously with its stuffing of apple and dried plums. And what was still more capital was to behold was the goose hopped down from the dish, reeled about on the floor with knife and fork in its breast, till it came up to the poor little girl. When the match went out, and nothing but the thick, cold, damp wall was left behind, she lighted another match. Now there she was, sitting under the most magnificent Christmas tree. It was still larger and more decorated than the one which she had seen through the glass door in the rich merchant's house. Thousands of lights were burning on the green branches, and gaily colored pictures, such as she had never seen in the shop windows before, looked down upon her. The little maiden stretched out her hands towards them when the match went out. The lights of the Christmas tree rose higher and higher. She saw them now as stars in heaven. One fell down and formed a long trail of fire. "Someone is just dead," said the little girl, for her old grandmother, the only person who had loved her, and who was now no more, had told her that when a star falls, a soul ascends to God. She drew another match against the wall. It was again light, and the lustre there stood the old grandmother, so bright and radiant, so mild, with such an expression of love. "Grandmother," cried the little one, "oh, take me with you. You go away when the match burns out. You vanish like the warm stove, like the delicious roast goose, and like the magnificent Christmas tree." And she rubbed the whole bundle of matches quickly against the wall, for she wanted to be quite sure of keeping her grandmother near her. And the matches gave such a brilliant light that it was brighter than that of the noonday. Never formerly had the grandmother been so beautiful and so tall. She took the little maiden on her arm, and both flew in brightness and in joy so high, so very high, And then above was neither cold, nor hunger, nor anxiety. They were with God. But in the corner, at the cold hour of dawn, sat the poor girl with rosy cheeks and with a smiling mouth, leaning against the wall, frozen to death on the last evening of the old year. Stiff and stark sat the child there with her matches, of which one bundle had been burnt. She wanted to warm herself, people said. No one had the slightest suspicion of what beautiful things she had seen. No one even dreamed of the splendor in which, with her grandmother, she had entered on the joys of a new year. The end. And that is the story of The Little Match Girl by Hans Christian Andersen. I know, Vtuber Bea. It's such a sad story. Oh, sad face 171. But it was nice because, it tells the tale of poverty. It shows that side of reality. But it's still so sad. She just died. She went with her grandmother at the very least. She was happy in the end. It didn't relax you at all, did it? Well, if you have a story that you want me to tell, something else that's more relaxing, you could just tell me. No worries. I will consider it, and then, maybe it's gonna be the next Tall Tales of Kaiko, right? This was actually requested by Venom from the chats, if you remember him. Pain, Kaiko, I know. So sad. Well, generally, a lot of old fairy tales are pretty sad. If you read the other story tales, the story that I was gonna tell last week when real house flipping happened was supposed to be the tale of the red shoes. Are you guys familiar with the tale of the red shoes? Now that's a very interesting story. Not really sad. Well, a bit, I guess. But very... I wouldn't say violent, but... it was very interesting, okay? So maybe I'll tell you the story of the Tale of the Red Shoes next time. It's a very nice story, though. If you want to look into it, you should. So again, I've linked the story of the Little Match Girl. A bit. It's a good story. It ends well. Nobody dies. Okay, so it doesn't end like the Little Match Girl. So it does hurt a bit, but it ends up nice. Okay. So you guys, if you wanna read free books, check out the Project Gutenberg. They have the I don't want to say anything VTuber bad. Spoiler. But yes. Oh yeah. So tomorrow, Bea and I are gonna be playing Viscera Cleanup Detail. She's gonna be interviewing me for her Bea's Buzz. So please be sure to check it out. I'll be linking the stream in my Twitter later on. So I hope you all go check it out. Check out her channel too. It's really good. It's really good. It's fun. Alright, so again, thank you very much for joining me. I know it was a very short Tall Tales with Kaiko today. And again, if you guys have any stories that you want me to tell, it doesn't have to be a book. It could be your personal story that you want to share with other people. I'd love to tell it for you. Okay. From LC? What's LC? Okay. Alright. Hi Marcus! Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry! The stream is just ending. But it's okay. We have another stream tomorrow, so please be sure to check it out. And we also have another Tall Tales with Kaiko that's coming up next week on Monday. So always remember, Monday is Tall Tales with Kaiko. It's gonna be a sort of chatting session as well. Like now, we're talking right now on chat. So even if the story is long or short, we're still gonna have some time to talk with each other. And that's all we want, right? At the end of the day, when we want to relax, have some conversation, have some fun with friends. Alright, thank you so much, everybody. I hope you all have a great evening, and good night. Good night, good night.